Good evening and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville's regular council meeting for August 13th, 2019. It is 7:07 p.m. If you'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call, please. Here.
Mrs. Gatos.
Here.
Mr. Poach.
Here.
Mr. Harvey.
Here.
Mr. Johns.
Here.
Mr. Arasingo.
Here.
Mr. Duncan.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Little.
Here.
Mr. Ratcher.
Here.
Ms. Rock.
Here.
Mr. Hukas.
Here.
Mr. Sedlak.
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here.
Council, before we get started into our public comment on proposed agenda items only, we have a representative here this evening from the U.S. Small Business Administration, Mr. Chaudhuri. He's a public affairs specialist, and he was going to present us something about the Office of Flood Disaster Assistance that we've been speaking about at our past meeting. So, Mr. Chaudhuri, if you could please come up to the microphone. Actually, just stay right at that podium. That'd be great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tamim Chaudhuri from the U.S. Small Business Administration. We are here because of the late July, the July 21st through 22nd flash flooding that took place in this area. We set up shop in Renton Fire Hall. Basically, what we're doing is we're offering low interest, long-term loans to anyone affected by the flooding, homeowners, renters, businesses, and nonprofits. I'm basically here to get the word out. I'm hoping that all of you can help me because we'll be here until August 20th. So that's a short span of time. And within that time, I'd want anyone who is affected to at least consider this federal form of assistance. For non-insured loans, this is the primary form of federal assistance. Non-insured losses, that is. Starting off with homeowners, they may receive up to $200,000 for their primary residence if it's been damaged. Homeowners and renters may both receive up to $40,000 for personal property loans. And when I say personal property, I'm also including vehicles in that. I've heard a lot of cases, and I'm sure you probably know better than me about vehicles just being swept away. So that's where this comes in. The interest rate may be as low as 1.9%, and the loan term may go from 7 to 30 years. So we'd like people to consider it. Moving on to businesses and nonprofits, both groups may receive up to $2 million for any sorts of damages received. I don't know of any minimum, so there is no real minimum. The maximum is $2 million. For businesses, the interest rate may be as low as 4%. For nonprofits, it may be 2.75%. When I say nonprofits, I'm also including churches in that. So if any churches would need our assistance, we'd be glad to do this. SBA loans don't have any application fees or any closing costs. These are simple interest rates. If an applicant chooses, he or she may receive a 4-month deferral on the principal payment. Interest will only accrue on the particular loan that's been provided. We ask people to at least just consider this. Right now, there are agents like me in the fire station that I mentioned. We're operating Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday hours, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll leave all of you flyers so that you'll have that information to pass on to your constituency. Currently, our last day is Tuesday, August 20th. We close at 5 p.m. Even afterwards, if somebody wants a loan, he or she can just go to disasterloan.sba.gov. But right now we're here, and we sometimes assume that everyone's computer literate, everyone's got that financial savviness. That's not always the case. So we can actually fill in the loan for you. For homeowners, just bring in your insurance information, social security number, address of where the damage took place. We'll take it from there. Business owners, just bring in the federal tax returns from the previous year, your business information, financial statement saying that you are the business owner, and we take it from there. Maybe we're asking for homeowners, renters, a half an hour of your time. For businesses, nonprofits, maybe 4 hours of your time, but that's pretty much it as far as the cost goes. Afterwards, if you don't like the loan terms, you can always decline it, you can always refuse it, but we don't want to see anyone just completely missing out on it. Currently, our deadline stands on October 7th. That's for physical damages. We also offer economic injury loans. Like I was just speaking to this one business owner who had to shut down operations for, I want to say, a week's time. So he lost income. We also have economic injury loans for that. So you can make payroll. Same terms apply. For economic injury loans, it's May 7th, 2020. So our goal is to try to help anyone and everyone in this county, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you. I'd be happy to answer any questions you
have
may
one.
have. Yes, ma'am.
Is Renton Fire Hall the only place that you are locally for
Yes,
a
ma'am.
resident to go? So there's nowhere in Monroeville directly?
No,
at
there are
one
like
of our
basically
fire
4 of
departments?
us, so we're
Okay.
operating, yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was all. Thank you.
Any other questions, council?
No, but thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman,
everybody.
We
Very
really
much.
appreciate
Very
you
good.
coming out.
Very good.
And, yeah, we'll pass that on. We'll have that information on our website as well.
Thank you, sir. I'll give my flyer to everyone before I leave.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you just
Mayor,
give me a call,
his presentation will be on our website
save you
as
the
well,
time.
right?
Sure.
Yes,
Because we're recorded.
correct. Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
that'll be available.
Mayor, I need to tell Joe that my monitor isn't working.
Did you turn it on?
Turn it on.
Hey, listen, Joe's up there, he might be able to look at while he's there.
I think
Okay.
Mr. Duncan's going to fix it.
Okay.
Good luck, you two.
Did you pay the cable bill, Joe?
Well, while they're figuring that out, ladies and gentlemen,
It's on.
Yeah.
very good. We're going to move over to our public comment on
Thank you.
proposed agenda
I
items
need a
only.
technician.
This is your time to speak about items that are actually on the agenda for this evening. Our public comment period, we ask that you hold your comments to 5 minutes. I will indicate to you if you have 1 minute remaining, and then 5 minutes if, when your time is up for that comment period. I will ask council, as always, to try to allow the resident to have their entire 5 minutes without interruption, so we can, so they can get their thoughts out fully. So if anyone would like to address council on any of the agenda items this evening, now would be your time to do it. If anyone is signed in, they can come up, or if someone would like to come up now and sign in, they can do so.
JB, is anybody on a sign-in sheet there? That gentleman that just talked. Somebody on it? He is. Thank you.
I think that he wants to
Yeah,
speak.
okay, yeah.
Actually, if you could wait 1 second, I'm going to go through the people that are signed in, but we will definitely get to you. Donna Schubert.
I don't know if it's on the agenda, but I will.
It better be.
Yeah, now, this has to be on the agenda, but
That's
at the end of the
Of
meeting,
course, I forgot my glasses,
That's
so
okay.
I'm not reading this.
however, if it's
Wait, I
not,
have
Don't
read.
bar mine.
if it's not on the agenda, you would have an opportunity at the end of this
Okay.
same meeting to do it, so.
More than likely, by the squinting my way.
Would you like to borrow my
Probably-
glasses?
No,
We all have,
Very
we all have
stylish.
readers.
They're all very stylish.
Yeah, we are. It's probably, I'll probably have to wait till the end, but,
Very good.
Squinting my
We'll
way
make
through
sure
here.
Mine are out if you need them.
Make sure
Okay.
we get to you.
okay, thanks.
Doreen Chekin.
Hasn't came yet, she texted me she's stuck in traffic.
Doreen's not here.
Oh, she's signed in.
Okay, so we're going to get, Mr. Ronig,
Somebody signed her in.
if you wanted to address council still? If you could just sign in, there's probably a sheet still up there, if you could sign in. If you just state your name for the record.
Leroy Romig. Okay. At the last meeting, it was suggested that a structural engineer come and check my house to see the condition of it and how safe it was. I had questions about that because I got different answers from different people about who pays for it and who gets the engineer, who hires them. The mayor came and before the meeting, and he cleared some of that up for me. So I understand that now. Yeah, he told me the municipality would pay for a structural engineer to check my house. So I guess I would be agreeable to that. Let's see. As far as getting my roof repaired, I got a call back yesterday from a company that I had talked to. They had given me a verbal estimate, but I had asked them for a written estimate. They finally got back to me and said they were working on it, but they called back today and said they couldn't give me an accurate estimate without them further looking at my house and taking note of the structures that they have to fix and repair. And so they suggested pretty much the same thing that you did, which was to get a structural engineer and have a report given to them. And then they could give me a very close estimate of the total cost. Let's see. There are a couple minor points. I don't think they're really that important, but at the last meeting it was stated that both houses on either side of me were occupied. That's not the case. There haven't been any people in the one house in a while. They moved away a couple months ago, and that house is now up for sale. There was a question concerning the safety of my roof if there was some kind of a huge snowstorm, with lots and lots of snow. But I can say right now, I haven't seen any accumulated snow on my roof in years, mostly because the roof, the attic, they're not insulated at all. The heat goes right up, right through it, and with the openings in the roof especially. So there hasn't been any snow accumulation on my roof in several years. So it's not really an issue of any heavy snowfall making the roof collapse or anything. I have still not heard back from some of the roofing companies that I've called about fixing the roof. I don't know whether they will call me back or I can just try to call them once more, and we'll see. But that's about all that I have to say. I did have a question concerning if the house is declared unsafe and says the occupants ordered to vacate said structure, how soon would that be after a resolution like that? Would that be immediate? Or, are people given time to, collect their things out of a house, or what?
Mr. Roenick, if you have any more comments regarding this, I'll give you about another minute, but I definitely will answer that question as soon as you're done with your comments. I just want to make sure you get all your comments out there.
Okay.
So is there anything else other than that question?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
So, and just to clarify one of the things you mentioned, you'd be agreeable to allowing someone to come in as a structural engineer to inspect the structure? Is that what you said earlier?
Yes.
You'd be agreeable to that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Mr. Ratcher, if you could help me out with as far as if the vacate order.
The order to vacate?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be up to council's discretion. I mean, my recommendation would be if council were to pass such an order, that a reasonable amount of time be given. Under the circumstances, I think, you're probably talking about 30 days. I don't think it's absolutely immediate today, tomorrow, whatever, but I think, that would, some amount of time that council deemed to be reasonable. Probably not exceeding 30 days, certainly.
Okay. Very good. This will be
Okay.
considered later in the meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address council on any agenda item for this evening? Seeing none, I'm going to close that portion of the meeting, and we have an acknowledgement for the Monroeville Foundation. Ernie Groover, Monroeville Foundation President, Debbie Izok, ID Solutions, and Kanu Sani, Director of Community Affairs from Allegheny Health Network, Highmark Health, in regards to the Community Day event that they put on. It was great, and we're here to say thank you, and you guys are here for a follow-up. That's great.
Yes, thank you for
Welcome.
having us here this evening. We're here today, for those who don't know me in the audience, I am Ernie Groover. I'm president of the Monroeville Foundation, and I want to say that we successfully put on the Monroeville Community Day on July 17th, a couple weeks ago. I want to thank 27, you're right. I'm thinking August already. July 27th. I want to thank everyone on council, the municipality, Forbes Hospital, Allegheny Health Network, and Highmark for partnering with us to make this a successful event. The day was fantastic. The weather was outstanding. Hopefully, each and every one of you had an opportunity to come out. We put on a family-friendly event. A lot of kids were out. I think this event helps Monroeville be a much more friendlier place, a pleasant place for people to come and enjoy the community. We have a fantastic park in the Community Park West, and it really showcases that park, the amphitheater. There was a concert at the end of the day with Nate Walker from one of the American Idol contestants from Pittsburgh. So it was just a fantastic day. I thank you, and we look forward to next year. I'll turn it over to Kanu.
Want to echo what Ernie just shared. We are so grateful for your partnership, the council, the municipality, clearly Monroeville Foundation, and all the other partners that made the day so successful. By any measure, this was a wonderful occasion. Building strong social connections is extremely important to good health. And what we saw happening that day was very, very encouraging. Highmark, Allegheny Health Network, Forbes Hospital are proud to present this again for the second year. And clearly we'll be back here again next year. We feel, and I'm a Monroeville resident myself, I feel very strongly that what we saw happening the first year and the second year, we're building a new tradition here. We're extraordinarily excited about it. Thank you again for your
You're
partnership.
the cameraman.
I did take a lot of pictures.
I saw you as the cameraman.
Yes, thank you very much.
So it does. It takes a lot of people to create and build an event like this, but I would like to take a moment, in addition to our presenting sponsors, who we are very grateful and have gratitude for. There are a lot of behind-the-scene helping hands that I really feel need to be acknowledged. And I would like to extend a huge thank you to Paul Estock from the Park and Recs Department and the guys over at the Parks Department office itself, John Hizzy, Nick Costelli, Mark Zawodnik, and John Float. We could not do this event without them, and they're just a tremendous asset that needs to be acknowledged and thanked. And Paul Estock is my right and my left hand, who keeps me covered at all times as we put this event together. So thank you to them. Additionally, just moving forward, this Saturday, the foundation is proud to present the 17th annual Monroeville Jazz Festival, and I would like to share flyers with you.
Thank you.
Once again, a great day planned for Monroeville, and from what we are learning, this event really is becoming a regional draw Last year, we had well over 3,000 people at the park for the Jazz Festival. This year, we are very pleased that Dollar Bank and UPMC East are our presenting sponsors, and our high note sponsors are Forbes Hospital, AHN, and Highmark. And again, we could not do the event without them. This again is a free event that we do, and what the foundation is really looking to do is to continue to shine all the positivity back here to Monroeville with what we can bring in terms of events and programs. But we've got a great day planned. We've got 4 great notable jazz performance groups, starting off with young kids called Kind of Blue, that we're kind of looking to mentor up the next generation of jazz musicians, followed by Steeltown Horns with vocalist Lindsay Smith, the Benny Benek Band, and then finishing off the evening is the Pittsburgh Jazz Orchestra with Anquinique Wingfield, who is a jazz vocalist with them. There will be food trucks. Full Pint Brewery will be on hand. We have a winery on hand as well. This year we are adding in an arts part of the event, so we're looking at really building this out with some arts and crafts people being there. And we are also partnering with Visit Pittsburgh with their Pull Up a Chair, You're Welcome Here campaign. And we are doing a local artist who will be painting a chair on site during the Jazz Festival. It's a great opportunity. Again, we are one of the 90 neighborhoods that Visit Pittsburgh is acknowledging. So again, we're putting Monroeville right out in front of everyone. The chair will become part of a charity event. So we're really looking forward to building that relationship as well. So I welcome all of you to come and join us on Saturday for some jazz, some friendship, some great music, some good food. And we look forward to seeing you at the park. Thank you.
I gave you guys big thank yous on Thursday night. I don't know if you saw it. I didn't realize you were coming this evening.
That's
But
okay.
I thanked
Thank you.
And expressed the from year 1 to year 2 was wow. So I just think next year's going to be even more wow.
Oh, that's a lot of
You guys are
pressure,
doing a
Linda.
fantastic- I don't think it is. I think that the
No,
word
it's
is getting
growing.
out, and people are saying
It
what a
is.
great event, and I think
It
you're doing a
is.
fantastic job. And I again want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll wrap this up with a couple quick things. You know, one of the benefits of the Monroeville Foundation is that we're able to do things that the municipality can't do for the community. And because of the Community Day, we had an opportunity to request people to ask for grants. A lot of people don't know who we are. It's one of the things we struggle with, so we're trying to get the word out. And recently, here in the Monroeville area, there was a family that had an explosion at their house. And I don't know if there's anyone here from the Kalnicki family.
They're not this
Not
evening.
this
Yeah, I called, he
Thursday.
couldn't make it, I called
Okay, he
him.
couldn't make it, but we have a check for $250 that we're going to give to that family. So
They sit this way. There you
Set it
go.
on the,
Set it on the,
Here.
set it on the
on
counter.
the X, right where the pictures are.
Lay it down flat,
There you go.
then he can bring it up on the TV.
So we're going to make that donation. You know, we're looking to do a
There
lot
it is.
more.
It's upside down, but you're all right.
I'm new to this piece of it.
There we go.
We'll get it, yeah.
Yeah. The foundation is looking to do more. We've been working with corporate sponsors like Highmark, Allegheny Health Network, and Forbes Hospital, UPMC East, Dollar Bank, and many, many more. But we're looking to do things in the community that will help brighten the community for people. And this is just a small opportunity, and we wanted to participate when we heard that this event took place. So, you know, please keep us in mind when things happen here in the community. We're here to donate money and to worthwhile causes. That's the goal.
If you just hold it up real
We're
quick.
going to have you hold it up so he can get a nice picture. If you'd all look this way, this way. Together, and smile. There we go.
Debbie, stand on something.
Yes, Canoe, Debbie, Ernie, thank you so much for all your
Thank you
hard
all.
work at this event.
Thank you.
We thank you.
Nick, real quick, 10 seconds. September 13th is our 4th annual golf outing. I understand that there's some great golfers here on council. We want golfers that not very good, Greg.
Oh, look at this.
I'm a good cart driver, that's about it.
Come out. We really
We
appreciate
may need
that.
one of those.
Yeah, I know.
Great job, thank you so
All
much.
right, thanks.
Council, I have an executive session announcement that we, council, conducted an executive session for personnel and litigation reasons prior to Citizens Night Thursday, August 8th, 2019, beginning at 6:30 PM until 7 PM. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at tonight's August 13th council meeting. Council, in front of you are the minutes from Citizens Night of July 2nd, 2019, council work session of July 2nd, 2019, and the regular council meeting of July 9th, 2019. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments, council? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gator.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Council reports of the tax collections. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gator.
Aye.
The ayes have it. List of bills and budget transfers, council. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gator.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
The ayes have it. And payroll report, council. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gator.
Aye.
And all of those items were reviewed at the August 8th council agenda-setting meeting. Council, our vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities in your packet. It would be the blue section. Mrs. Gatos, do you have anything this evening?
I do not, thank you.
Mr. Poach?
I do. The form, we'd nominated Gordon Kahn earlier in July, so going to be appointed to the second ward position for Recreation and Parks Advisory Board.
There's a motion to appoint
Yes.
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Nothing else, Mr. Poach? You're good?
No, sir.
Mr. Harvey?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Johns?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Arsenko?
Nothing.
Mr. Duncan?
I have nothing.
Mr. Wilson?
No, thank you.
Very good. Council, moving over to our consent agenda, we have one motion this evening. Mr. Little.
Yeah, the loan motion is a motion to authorize to advertise for bids for a roof overlay on the municipal building.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Do we have a set of specifications on this roof, or?
Well, I was in contact with our engineer today and the architect for MS Consultants. I'll be contacting him and discussing that with him shortly.
So that's what will be going out to bid?
Correct.
Any other comments or questions, council? We do have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Council, moving over to our resolutions. We have 5 this evening. Mr. Little.
The first one is a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into an agreement for the municipality's participation with the County of Allegheny for snow and ice control of county roads for the years 2019, 20, 21, and 22.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Next.
Okay, resolution number 2, a resolution changing the name of various roads within the municipality. This is for 911 purposes.
Okay, that answered my question.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion to approve
And a second.
and a second.
Second, yeah, okay.
Any comments, council?
Nope. Do you want to name the street?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. Princeton. Most of them are mine, actually.
Changing Leslie Drive to Leslie Road. Changing Pin Oak Drive, which Pin Oak is 2 words, to Pin Oak 1 word. Changing Princeton Drive to Princeton Road. And Snowball Drive to Snowball Road.
And once again, this comes from our dispatch or the county?
I believe this was a Connie. Is it from the Connie, Paul?
Yes, it's actually in the resolutions. It's the Allegheny County Address Manager who requested it.
Council, any other comments or questions?
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gato?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little.
Okay, next is a resolution readdressing existing homes on Maple Crest Lane. The changes of the addresses are listed on the resolution.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, council? Or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little.
Okay, resolution adopting the Singleton subdivision sewage planning module.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Little.
Okay, a resolution declaring the structure at 2509 Monroeville Boulevard, lot and block number 639L178, an unsafe structure and ordering the occupants to vacate said structure until appropriate repairs are completed, inspected, and approved by the municipality pursuant to Section 403.84 of the Uniform Construction Code as adopted by Ordinance 2334.
Motion to approve.
Motion to table. I thought Mr.
We
Roman
have-
said he was coming back
One motion at a time here.
with some additional information.
There's a motion to table. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Well, there was a motion to approve first and then a second of that.
Motion to table takes precedence, yeah.
Take precedence.
It does. So we have a motion and a second to table. So voting in the affirmative is to table this item until next month's meeting, or until council decides to act on it.
Why are we tabling it?
There's no discussion. It's actually, at this point,
You just
it's
vote.
tabled. The options are to vote to table in the affirmative, or you can vote in the negative, and we can move on with the next motion.
There's
So,
no question, Mayor?
Not on a table.
Okay.
So, roll call. Sharon, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
No.
Mr. Poach?
No.
Mr. Harvey?
No.
Mr. Johns?
No.
Mr. Arasinko?
No.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion fails. There was a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Yes, I made the
Yeah,
motion
there was a
second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion or comments at this point?
I have one.
Mr. Duncan.
I believe the gentleman just came up and agreed to allow our engineer in to see him. Couldn't we give him a little time to allow our engineer inside the house? I mean, he didn't have that agreement last week. I had to leave a little early, but from what I understood, he didn't agree to it.
Correct.
But now he is.
Right,
Can
that
we-
came up in our public, we did have a, just so everybody that's watching knows, we had a public hearing at the Thursday meeting. We spoke about this item at length. And, yeah, that was one of the items that council suggested to Mr. Roenig for him to think about as far as getting a structural engineer in here. And yes, he did just mention that now that.
So my
he would
thought
agree to
was,
it.
if he allows it and agrees to it now, that we could send somebody over probably rather
Well,
quickly.
can we put in a stipulation as far as he has 30 days to vacate, and in that time, if he can get the structural engineer and a cost of the roof and show that he has the funds to pay for that work, that we would, maybe then be able to do something different?
Well, I have a question then also about the actual resolution. Isn't it the way this is written stated? So if he fixes it, even if we voted for it
That's
right
correct.
now,
Then
if
he
he
could-
fixes it, everythix's fixed next week, he's
Well, if
in.
he got
safe.
it fixed in
He's
a
safe,
proper
he's
amount
in.
of time, then naturally we'd
That's
just
correct.
forget the
Then it would
whole
just
thing.
go away.
So
But
if
it's been
not,
going on for 7 years.
That's
so
correct.
I was just
That's
be
my
afraid to
point.
say,
Still
Jim
gives him
just hit the
30
nail
days
on the
then.
head. This has
Correct.
been going on for
I
at least 6 years.
feel as bad as anybody could ever
I do
feel,
too.
and I mean that from my heart.
I do.
But we need to do something to get it
Yeah.
corrected.
It has
For his
to be.
safety
Well,
and
council, let me ask,
neighbors.
let me just, point of clarity here. If we could, so there's a motion and a second to approve for for the occupant to vacate the structure.
Correct.
Do we have a time limit of what you want to allow?
I thought we were said 30 days.
That's up to you.
If within that 30 days, the structural engineer comes in and says that it's safe, can't we?
Well, how about to our next meeting, the next citizens' night?
But he has to
I don't-
live in-
I don't
It'd be
wanna-
even longer if it be, that's less
Sorry?
than 30 days. I mean, 30 days is from, effective
It
today.
gives him more
Give
time.
him more time.
And also, the structural engineer would have to, and he would have to have an approved roofing contractor and show that he has the funds to pay for it.
Well, I agree, but if he can't get it done in that period of time, then
Then, right, but we're
Then it
giving
has-
him the 30 days.
Okay, but that's not part of what we're voting on, whether he has the money or if the engineer can step in. We're telling him he has to vacate in 30 days. Is that correct?
No, we're
Correct, but
saying
if
he
in that
doesn't have to
timeframe
vacate
he
if he
does
gets
it-
fixed.
Then
If he gets it fixed.
he gets it fixed.
Yeah, that was my
That
question
will all
in there too,
change.
Steve, is the way the resolution, if everything gets fixed next week, we order it now, and the way I understand it, it's correct. If he gets it fixed in a week, then
Or within 30 days.
within
Within
30
30
days, he
days.
still stays in it.
Well, I think I know.
That's not what I'm reading, but
Okay, well, I mean, that's what I'm trying to understand too, so.
Well, I just want to understand the scenario as well. So
Sure.
if, let's forget the repair for a moment. If there is a structural engineer that comes in and says that the property, even though it's in disrepair, it is safe to occupy, is council saying that you would let him in at that point?
We realize we've been
Because
doing
these
this
are
for
two-
7 years,
well, yeah,
right?
we have two different
This
issues.
came out of the magistrate's office because he's been there for 7 years and has never once complied to getting the roof fixed. It's getting worse and worse and worse. So I don't want blood on my hands if this winter the snow brings the roof down on him and kills him.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure we have this recorded properly. Do you agree, Bob, Mr. Ratcher, as far as?
Yeah,
there's an
one
order-
one
there's an
point one
order.
point I would like to make. If this resolution passes, Mr. Romig will have to vacate the property within 30 days. Now, if something happens between now and 30 days, it's incumbent upon council to enforce the resolution. If council chooses not to enforce the resolution after 30 days, strictly up to council. So if you see progress of some type that's satisfactory to you, you may choose not to enforce the 30-day vacation of the premises. If you don't, you can stick to this and,
Can we then, can we extend it after 30 days?
well, you would,
If we
you
wanted
would
to?
essentially, at that point, you could extend it for as long a period as you wanted to.
Okay.
You still have an order to vacate here.
Okay,
You could just delay the enforcement of that order.
okay, that's all I'm asking. That kind
This,
of,
so once again, okay, so does everybody understand?
I do.
yeah, after that explanation, I do understand.
And it's, so it's we're putting 30-day in the resolution.
Correct.
30 days. Okay.
So nothing could happen as far as vacating for 30 days.
Yeah.
To make sure.
After
he-
30 days, something could happen or could not happen,
You okay with that?
depending on council's
We need to make sure that
pleasure.
he
Yeah,
understands.
why don't you bring him back up?
We need to
See
make
if
sure
he
he
understands
understands
what
what
we're
we're
talking
saying.
Sir, do you
Mr. Romig,
understand?
do you understand what we're proposing, or what's being proposed?
Do you want to
would
come
like
up?
To the microphone.
You'd like to come up to the microphone.
Make sure you understand, nobody's trying to make you remove you from your home. Please don't think that, because we're not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sure I understand. Are you saying that you are approving the resolution? Okay, and you are giving me 30 days to vacate,
Correct?
okay?
Or get somebody
Or-
to say that it's safe. Right.
Or
Okay.
get your roof fixed and let us get the structural engineer say that your house is safe enough for you to stay in.
Okay, so if the structural engineer looks at it and he says, yes, it needs fixed, but it's
Has to be like
structurally
that.
safe, then,
You still have to fix your roof.
yeah,
To fix
right,
the roof.
yeah.
And you have 30 days, and if you can get that stuff done, then we'll leave this alone and you can stay.
The
Okay.
original order is predicated on the damage and the status of the roof,
Yes.
okay? So that's what we're acting on first.
Okay. I have a quick comment, because I keep hearing the same phrase, this is going on for 7 years, okay? That's not exactly true, okay? In 2012, that's when I received a citation concerning the roof. It was about fixing a hole in the roof, and it was about me putting a ladder up and going up on the roof to fix it, which I had been doing. I had been maintaining the roof. So that was at the end of 2012. 2013, the judge ruled that I had complied with the order, and the case was dismissed, okay? So that ended that, okay? In 2012, 2013, that's done with. That's ancient history.
We still have the pictures.
Sir, I appreciate the timeline,
next-
but the pictures, I think, tell us right now that it's unsafe for you
Right
to
now,
be there
yeah.
right now, and you have to agree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we
But-
want to give you 30 days to try and fix the issue.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
Irrespective of that, of your comment, I recall your discussion last week, okay, talking about that. Irrespective of whether it was seven years or just recently, since the
3 years.
3 years for that too, it's been a substantial period of time. I mean, I think we can agree on that. You just agreed that it's been at least 3 years. Irrespective of that time, right now, we're acting on one thing, okay? The repair of the roof was what brought the inspectors to take you to the magistrate to act on, okay? In addition to that, we're going to add 30 days to this process for you to vacate the premises. And if things change in the interim, we have that opportunity to continue it on. However, we have an order that we're asking to act on, okay, to continue to move forward with this process, whether it was 7-3 to, irrespective of that. That was the reason the building department came to us with that. Can we agree on that piece of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that, we want you to understand that what we're acting on or proposing is based upon that order that we have also received, and we're going to ask for, in the order, to vote on whether we want you to vacate or not within that 30-day period of time.
And you know, the real bottom line is we're concerned for your health.
Are you still agreeable that we can get an engineer in there to look ASAP?
Well, yeah, but
You went, well, yeah, it's either yes or no.
I'm gonna, if they have to go up in the attic and
Well, they're gonna have to
all the
go
structure-
everywhere.
They have to go
They're going to go in your
Just make sure
basement, your
the
kitchen,
property is
your
structurally
upstairs, they're going to go everywhere.
Yeah, well, if they're gonna be looking in the attic, I still have a lot of stuff in the attic. I'd have to move
But
that.
we're not,
We're not
So they
concerned
can
with
see.
that, they just need to look inside the whole home.
They can
Yeah.
work around things, and then they certainly will schedule a time, or they would, if you would agree to it, they would schedule a time that was convenient for you, but it's strongly suggested that you would agree to that
sooner than later, so that you may have a chance to get your roof fixed, and we could let this all go away, and you can stay.
Okay.
But it's your choice.
So, council, we have a motion and a second to,
Mayor,
go
I have a comment.
ahead, Mr. Harvey.
You guys saw the same report I did, didn't
Yes.
you? I don't know where we're going with this. This has been going on for 7 years. The building inspectors stood right there.
Yes.
Give us a very comprehensive report. And I no more want to put somebody out of their home than you do. But this has been going on for a long time, and he gave a very comprehensive report about this structure. You saw the pictures. Does Joe, you just don't happen to have those pictures?
No, Jason had those, Ron.
Okay. So I agree with the 30 days, but I just don't know.
I have
here.
another point. With this gentleman sitting here, you have had damage from the water that came in, that rainstorm at the end of July. You have had damage come in, these gaping holes in your roof, and cause damage to your home. Maybe they could be an answer for you.
Well, council, once again, there's a motion, a second to approve this resolution, and what it says is that it declares the structure an unsafe structure, and it orders the occupant to vacate until the appropriate repairs are completed, inspected, and approved. Once again, this is just to vacate until the repairs are made. It's not to tear down the home or anything along those lines, but it's just to vacate until the repairs are made.
Okay?
So we do have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arcink?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
I
The
wish
ayes
you the
have it.
best, sir.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
I do, truly.
Council, moving over to our reports from our municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, any comments this evening?
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Mr. Little?
Yeah, as I mentioned on Thursday evening, the Pennsylvania Resource Council will be having a collection event for hazardous material and electronic material at Boyce Park this Saturday, August the 17th. I would encourage everybody, any kind of waste that they have, that they would get rid of over at that event. It's more than just hazardous weight electronics. I believe they'll take virtually anything. And they're very, very reasonable with respect to, paying to take these materials away. Monroeville Jazz Festival, as was mentioned before, it's also this Saturday, so take your waste materials over to Boyce Park and go to the Jazz Festival.
Oh, there you go.
August 7th. That's a day out for everybody.
There you go. Two birds with a stone.
And,
Somehow
all right,
we're doing
Library
work.
Fun Fest is August 24th.
Thank
They had over 1,000 people last year, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct there, Mr. Poach? I think it was over 1,000 people.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, sir.
They had last year, so I think that's going to be another success this year. And also mentioned Monroeville Foundation Golf Outing is looking for golfers, foursomes, and they're going to be having their 4th annual golf outing on September the 13th at Meadowink to raise money in order for grants in the community. Also, not on the agenda there is the Volunteer Fire Department number, Joe, put that up. That's number 1. They received a check, I can't see it, from Chick-fil-A.
7,700.
Well, it's for all the fire.
That's for all the firemen, yes.
Oh, that's for all the fire, okay.
That's for the training center, maybe.
Training center, it was for the fire training center, and that check was given to the
Nice.
volunteer firemen. I believe that was last week that was given
$7,700.
from Chick-fil-A.
Fantastic.
And that's, thank you to
Great.
Chick-fil-A.
Thank you, Chick-fil-A.
$7,700, I
Nice.
believe it was. Correct, Joe? $7,700.
Hello, Joe.
Okay, also, council has, this is just an FYI, from the Tricog Land Bank, I received a letter, and Tricog Land Bank, what they do is they acquire properties that are in disrepair, and they buy them, they try to fix them up if they're not in too much disrepair. And every municipality that's a part of that gives part of their delinquent tax money to that to keep that going. But what they want to do is they want to acquire properties before they go on a broad market. And this is from the National Community Stabilization Trust. They get properties before they go on the market that just have a forfeiture. They're not going into sheriff's sale. So the properties are most likely in decent shape. It's just that they've been abandoned maybe for 2 or 3 years as opposed to 10 or 20 years. And it eliminates the middleman, and this is just an FYI for council. I was just going to sign this and send this back to Ann Lewis, the Executive Director of the Tricog Land Bank. Does council have any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. All right, also, last but not least, I would like to thank all of our summer interns. We have had a great bunch of interns the last 2 years all over the municipality, in Public Works, here in the municipal building, down at the swimming pool, and I just want to extend my thanks to them. They do a fantastic job of coming in here, and we're going to be lost without the ladies we have in here in the municipal building. I tell them that every day. What are we going to do when you leave? They are great help to us in the office. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Mr. Hugus.
No
anything-
report,
anything
Mayor.
this evening?
No, sir.
Ms. Rock.
I have nothing.
Thank you.
On that meeting on mine.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open up our meeting for public comment on any municipal item. This is for Monroeville residents and taxpayers. Once again, we ask for you to keep your comments to a 5-minute time frame. We feel that 5 minutes is plenty of time for one to get their point across. Once again, I will ask council to try to allow the resident to get all of their comments out before responding, so we don't have back and forth debate. If there are questions that are asked during the comment period, we'll try to answer questions at the end of this meeting if we're able to, but if not, we have all your information that we can definitely get you an answer as soon as we have it. So, we'll go back to our sign-in sheet from earlier. Donna Schubert.
Can Doreen go before me? Would that be okay?
Sure. You want to hold off?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Doreen Chatkins.
Hello, Doreen Chatkin, 300 Meadow Court. I'm sure you all know why I'm here. So my question for you, Ron, is why? Why did this happen? I've been addressing you. I talked to Mr. Ratcher. I've talked to Tim Little since 2014.
Excuse me, when did you talk to me, ma'am?
When did I talk to you?
Yes.
I came in with Mr. Arasinko. We were in, it was in
Here?
20, yep, upstairs in your office.
When was the time period?
2016, it was like 2016. I have emails.
Okay. I don't
Yep,
remember
I
ever
went in
meeting
with
you.
Mr. Arasinko when he was
Noreen,
the mayor.
the only emails I have from you and the only discussions I ever recall having with you is about your backyard.
The backyard
I
and
printed them all out.
the flooding.
I have them with me, and never, only one time did you mention down on Logan's Ferry Road. Every other discussion was about your backyard.
My backyard, which leads to the flooding to that
Well,
intersection.
it's, doesn't- I don't, okay, we'll leave it go then.
Yep. Ms. Jackson, if you want to make comment right now, and then...
So that's it, just
Abby.
a question on why, what are you guys gonna do to fix it? I know that I talked to you about some issues and some concerns we had. And then, when are you guys gonna clean it up? I have to drive by that every day. Is anyone gonna clean it up? Do we have to clean it up ourselves?
The corner at Leaside Drive.
Yeah.
Mayor, I have some answers for that once
As far
this
as,
is done.
do you have, is there any other comments you have as far as that, or is that just your main question? And you
Just, what's gonna be done?
Okay.
Are you putting the light in? Are we gonna extend the guardrail? Or can we get a sign put up?
Those three things you just mentioned, yes, we are going to put a light up at the pole, because you and I did speak, we spoke about a half hour, 35 minutes, maybe 2 weeks ago. And yes, there's an extra telephone pole where we can put an extra light up, and we are going to do that. I believe the order has already been put in for that. We are going to extend the guardrail as well, and signage is also something that we're going to put up in that region as well. We're trying to, right now, we're working on the proper language through the PennDOT or the uniform signs. Help me out, Mr. Hugus.
The MUTCD, the Manual Uniform Traffic.
I was close, I was close. The document that dictates what the signage actually says, but we're going to get that put up.
Okay. And then, like, last week when you were at the meeting and you were quick to jump on Jan about how long the rescue was, she got trapped in there at 10 o'clock. I was on the phone with her at 10. I called 911, no one answered my call. That's when I took off in my car, and my 18-year-old took off on foot.
Well, I have
So
the
whatever
printout from the
reports you're
dispatch
getting,
center.
I have my reports too. I have my phone log.
Yeah, but this is from the printout from the dispatch.
This is when she called, trapped in her vehicle.
If you want to hand that in for the record, or we can make a copy.
Yep, you can have it. That's when she was trapped in her car.
You do know
If there's any other-
911 calls downtown though, right? Not here,
So
not here.
she called and I called and no one answered.
I'm just making sure.
Ms. Chapman, do you have any other comments you'd like to make?
Nope, I don't, I think that's it.
Well, those items we mentioned, we're going to get those. Those are the easier ones that we can tackle pretty quickly.
Okay.
There are some longer-term things that we have to work on that we're doing our best.
Okay, thank you.
Good to see you, Doreen.
Donna Schubert.
Hello, everyone. I reside at 134 Edgemead Drive.
Will you just state your name?
Donna Schubert. Oh, sorry, you already said it, so
I
I
know,
did.
they-
What do I
to
know?
hear you
My
say
first
We want to
time.
hear you
Like
say,
you
make sure
say.
you're pronouncing,
Okay,
we're pronouncing.
Donna
it.
Schubert.
Thank you.
134 Edgemead Drive. Been there for 30 years. We built there. The problem that Doreen just talked about was a bad issue. My issues are also the same with that, but on top of that, it has been ongoing for years. I have talked to Mr. Harvey quite a few times, actually, because it floods out down there. They put a Band-Aid on it last year, which kind of helped a little bit, but on the all in all, it's always been flooded out. It would stay flooded out for a week at a time. I am a walker. I walk around my neighborhood. I take my dog for a walk to the point where I would have to walk into the middle of the street. Cars come flying up and down there, and a few times I was almost hit. I was told by someone, well, if it's that busy down there, don't walk down there. That's not the answer. Fix the water problem. I shouldn't have to walk around a water problem to walk. There's no sidewalks down there. It needs to be fixed. Those storm grades that are at the bottom have been filled to the top for, I'd say, a good 7, 8 years now. Because it was way before I retired, and that's been 6 years, so that's why I can judge the time. Obviously, the storm drains aren't working, hence the flooding. So that needs to be, and I have asked Mr. Harvey, I've talked to him a couple of times in the last couple of years, and it's always been told, well, okay, the EPA doesn't allow it, You know, we don't have the money for it, okay? Hence, let's look at this. We're going to have somebody get harmed, and it's going to happen, and it almost did with Caitlin, okay? But something has to be done to fix. You can't have these storm drains up to the top constantly. Bugs flying everywhere. It's a safety hazard because of the mosquitoes. What can be done? Something has to be done to make it safer for the people who live in our neighborhoods. And we pay enough taxes that it should be taken care of. They go down with that big truck and suck it out of that storm drain once in a blue moon. You come back in 2 hours, there's water all through the road again, and nobody can even pass through there. It's crazy. Like I said, they put a Band-Aid across the street, which did help to a degree, but it needs to be fixed properly. And it starts from way back where I live, where the big ditch between the two houses, which I'm next to, it starts back there. And it goes through there, and it can't go anywhere else when it gets down to the bottom. It needs to be fixed properly. I understand it's going to cost a lot of money, but people's lives cost a lot also. And you have to address it for our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is there. We've been there for 30 years. Come on, guys, you got to help us fix it and get it fixed right. You know, I shouldn't have to walk past, and the answer is not, don't walk that way. I walk past the storm drain, there's mosquitoes everywhere. You know, it's unsafe. You know, I understand a few years, and I'm not going to mention names, a few years ago, somebody in our neighborhood, their dog got ill, took it to the vet, and it was because of the sewage that is down in that area. It's always been taken care of. Nobody's taking care of it anymore. It's the Monroeville, where our Meadowdale sign is. It's not taken care of, and now we're being told, oh, that belongs to your neighborhood. It doesn't belong to the neighborhood. There is no, what's the word I want to use? The Homeowners Association. There isn't one. There's never been one there. I've been there since the beginning of time. So, you know, it's time that we really figure out what needs done down there and fix it properly. And it's just something that has to be done. You know, you guys got to help us. You know, you wouldn't like it if you lived down there and you couldn't drive down the street. You couldn't walk down the street. And the sewer drains need to be, you need to be able to look down a storm drain and see the bottom because the water needs to go somewhere. And it needs to start, and it has to be done. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anyone else like to, I don't have anyone else signed up on this sheet, but there still is a sign-up sheet.
Sorry, Mayor, I'm coming.
Take your time.
I am. My knee. Don't laugh, Greg.
Sir, if you could just sign in on that sheet for me.
I
that'd be
sure
great.
will.
And then
I
state your
think
name
I
for the
can still
record.
do that real good.
You know, I love you, Ken. I can't help
I
it.
love you too, Greg.
We all understand the need.
No, you-
Sad but true.
Yeah.
that's right. It's raining.
I know it. I can feel it in my shoulder and my knee, so I know it.
My name's Kenneth Houston. I live at 108 Edgemead Drive.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to stand here before this wonderful-looking group of young folks. Tom, you look fantastic. I love the tie.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity
A
to
lot of young
address this
folks,
honorable.
I'll take it, though.
He's not wearing his glasses, if you notice.
Oh, okay.
I see you, Tom.
Is that better?
Thank you for the opportunity to address this honorable council. First, let me say a couple shout-outs. One, that I think that our fire department and our police department does an incredibly impeccable job. I have the opportunity to serve as president of the NAACP. I cover 9 municipalities in Allegheny County. Monroeville gives me the least headaches in comparison to other ones. But I'm here tonight to speak very frankly and very bluntly about the Meadowdale plan in which I live. I love it down there. I love the Meadowdale community. We bought our home there approximately 15 years ago. And everyone that lived down there was incredibly nice to us. We were one of the few minority individuals that had moved down there at the time. And I was concerned of, because there was so many trees and forests and nothing but foxes and deer, am I okay down here? But it turned out to be a beautiful community. Excellent neighbors, wonderful people. I think one of the things that we as residents have to understand is things take time. And I think everyone down there is aware of that it takes time, Mr. Mayor. But I do think that when the young lady was trapped, I went running down there, as so many others did, because we were absolutely terrified. Her car had been uplifted. It had been spun around by the water, taken all the way to the back. To the fireman's credit, Mr. Kenny Cousins particularly sprang into action, and they did a phenomenal job. I mean, phenomenal job. The police, the fire, everybody. The water situation down there has been incredibly crazy. And I get the flooding and the act of God and all that other stuff, but I was worried about that water situation for quite a while. And where I live on Edgemead, when you come down Logan's Ferry and you get to Edgemead Drive and you go to drive in, one of the first things that caught my attention is that stop sign, which nobody stops at. I had been asking for a flashing light. I think, Tom, you and I talked about it a couple times, Greg. I'm scared somebody's kid is going to get killed.
Kenny, let me just tell you, I put 2 flashing lights on Evergreen, and they don't stop.
No. Well, I mean, just give me personal comfort. I would like to see something put on that stop sign. That's one. 2 is when that floods down there, to our neighbor's point, it's terrifying, because that flooding down there, people have a tendency to underestimate how deep that water gets. That water gets deep. And, you know, I think for me, I was a little angry because I felt like, you know, we're down there in the Meadowdale plan. You know, Dorian and them, they go out and they clean it up. I've gotten mulch and cleaned it up and done some things down there just on our own, because it's our community, right? So you take care of the community where you live. But it does kind of tick you off a little bit, because you feel like, okay, does anyone care about us down here? It's rough. That water, and she's right when she said that when you look down in the sewage areas where the water's supposed to flow, you couldn't see anything. It's all filled up with debris. It's ugly. And it got worse. And now we have to drive by there and look and see the indentations from the trucks, the mud, and they're building some pretty nice, what I'm understanding, going to be homes down there. But it's bad enough we had to look at that, and then the mud and the rain that came from that down, and now we're looking at going down the street, down Logan's Ferry, looking at that mud and debris, and it's like, okay, what's going on? What's the plan? So I appreciate your transparency. I'm going to wrap it up, I guarantee you. I appreciate the transparency, and I appreciate what you all here at council are saying. But understand that the frustration is not frustration that just came about. This is frustration from over a period of time. And I'm not here to point the blame, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. I think that if we're going to be what we're supposed to be in a community, it's all of our faults. Every district should unite and find a way to come up with a solution to solve this problem. Because ultimately, it's our community. And we want to keep it beautiful down there. And we want to keep people safe. And by the way, you have a plethora of kids down there now. There's a lot of kids down there now. There's a lot of families that have moved in down there in the Meadowdale plan. There's a new generations of kids that are down there now. And you want to know that they're going to be okay and safe. So I thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. I believe you're sincere in what you're doing. We get it. We understand it takes money. I always say, look, raise my taxes.
You're by yourself on that, Bob.
And your 5 minutes is up.
Let me say this. Everybody out there in television land, hello, let me say this. I don't mind you raising my taxes as long as my services are at the level that they are right now.
Gotcha.
I don't want to see no more municipal workers let go and not replaced. I'm serious. And you need to give your garbage truck drivers a raise. I'm serious. Them guys work their tails off. So I like my municipal services. I love it. But I also want to know that you all understand the things that you can't see, that you know that it is very serious to be dealt with. That's all I'm asking. And I thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I think you're all fantastic individuals, despite what, But thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thanks for that presentation. That was good. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address council?
Can I piggyback something, one statement on top of what he just said? I'm not allowed.
Yeah, one time.
Okay.
Thank you. So if you just state your name for the record and sign in, that'd be great.
Sure, I'm David Mintz.
Yeah, we never met you before.
No, don't know who I am. I just waited here to be the last one to speak, it looks like, maybe. I just wanted to follow up on a couple things from a month ago when we spoke, and I say we, I guess representatives of Sustainable Monroeville. I guess I had two questions. One was the question, I guess, that's been asked by some other people was, have we found out yet, I guess I'll just address the mayor and then you can decide who's going to answer, who owns the mineral rights under Bel Air Municipal Pool and Park?
The short answer is no, but we're still exploring it.
Okay.
We can, well, I'll let you get your comments.
Okay.
We'll elaborate on that later.
Okay, thank you. Really, the only other question was when I spoke last month about getting an updated ordinance that would address specifically modern industrial hydraulic fracturing within Monroeville. Mr. Gressok asked Mr. Little to speak to Mr. Ratcher, so I was just wondering how that went in the last month.
Nothing to update you on.
Was there a meeting or?
I'm not sure if there was, but I don't have an update about it.
Okay. Okay, I'll just say one more thing, and then maybe if there's anything else to elaborate on, then you can go ahead. I can say that we've been working on that updated ordinance, and I think I'm pretty confident that we'd be prepared to submit that at the next meetings in September. I'm not sure, maybe I can ask you, is that best done at the Citizens Night meeting or the council meeting and who would I submit that to in the actual ordinance?
You could do it at the meeting, but also you
Which-
could hand it in earlier and
Okay.
hand it into the municipal manager's office.
Okay.
And that'd be probably the best way. That way it could get digested in-house.
Right before, okay, so is there what's the process? Would we sit down and meet with you at that time, or just hand it in for you to read and then request a meeting to talk about that? Or should that be done in the public forum, like at Citizens Night or council?
Mr. Little.
Well, the way you would do that is submit your suggestions with respect to revision of that section of the zoning ordinance, and then staff will take it under advisement. And then if council instructs us to move ahead with that, we will, and you'll be brought into the process. Is there will be public hearings on that, and that's your time to speak.
Okay. All right. And I guess if you wanted to elaborate at all, if there has been any meetings in the last month about either the mineral rights under Bel Air or the ordinance, I guess, that I just spoke
Well,
about.
I'll let you get all your comments.
Okay,
Any other comments?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
You good?
I'm done. I'm
Okay.
good.
No, Mr. Ratch, if you could just explain the title search that happened.
We've gone back 60 years, nothing yet. We're trying to find a way to go back further without it costing a lot of money. Actual mineral searches, if you give them to title agencies, are about $8,000 to $10,000. We're trying to get back further without expending those kinds of funds,
Sure.
and we think we can do that. So,
Okay.
but we're back to 1958.
And there's still no record
No,
of
nothing
who
yet,
owns
no,
that?
no.
It-
It probably happened between probably 1900 and 1920 would be my guess.
Right. So there's probably somebody, I mean, I'm just presuming now, there's somebody out there who knows because they own it, that just, they haven't come forward.
Actually, no,
or-
I called
Yeah.
Apex.
Yeah.
They don't know. Huntley doesn't know. I gave them that lot and block number,
Sure.
and so I thought that might be a shortcut to
Right.
finding out. It hasn't been,
Okay.
so, but we're still looking.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And- Okay, and I guess as far as had you guys spoken about the ordinance? You hadn't
I've
yet?
not heard anything.
Okay, so,
Nothing yet.
all right.
But you can hand everything in to Mr. Little, and we'll go from there.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone else like to address council? If you just sign in on that sheet, and state your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Tina Marks. I live at 124 Edgemere Drive, and I just wanted to piggyback on some of the comments that Donna and Mr. Houston, I guess, had made. One of the things that I do concur with you, Mr. Wilson, putting a red light or flashing lights at the bottom of that hill, that's not going to solve any problem.
Well, we can try to.
You can try it. It's a speedway through there. We're at the edge of the borough between ourselves and Monroeville and Plum, cutting through to Davidson. Unless you wanted to put a cop down there, there's traffic that goes through that stop sign on a constant basis. One of the other things that I wanted to say, though, is now all of those homes that are being built at the top of the hill where Beatty Farms was, that mud that came down the hill that night was atrocious. I was personally stuck in that as I was coming home at 1 o'clock in the morning and crossed Center Road and hit WTAE at the top of the hill. The road was closed at what used to be Beatty Farms, where that development is going up. So I went around to the other side, came down the other hill, and the road was closed at the Plum development with a gentleman who, obviously, they don't know how deep the water gets down there because he has flooded his truck up into the windshield. And I literally only had to go 500 feet, and I said, is the water receding? Which at 1 o'clock in the morning, it had finally receded because I could literally park my car at Verizon and walk home. I was that close. But since all of that debris is down at that hill, will that be cleaned up? All of that mud, all of that, the tires, the trees, all of that is still there. So I don't know who took the initiative to clean that debris, but the truck just came and shoved the dirt, and now it's on the side of the road. I kind of expected something to flood again today, because as long as it rains hard, that sewer cannot hold the water. So we don't know what else to do. We have been told that that was, as Donna said, that's a home association problem. I am an original builder in that development for over 30 years. Dickham was the original developer. He is dead. And there is no documents that say there was ever a home association. So I don't know where that came from, that comment came from, but we're stuck with, we built the signs that label that development, and we are the ones that maintain that development. Right now, it's destroyed. The land around that area is gone. So I don't know what or how you can go back in and fix that. Then that was just my comment. And then the only other last thing that I wanted to say is, because of those closures and because of that water, the traffic gets detoured, and then it's detoured up into development. There are an extreme number of children that are still in that area, so people don't know that those 200 houses are down there. So if it floods coming down off of Logan's Ferry, they turn onto Edgemead Drive, they go the whole way over to Lee side, and then they have to go down on the other side and exit through Plum. It's not safe. So we're just asking for your help. So, thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Would anyone else like to address council on any municipal item? Seeing I'm going to close that portion of the meeting and move over to our reports of our council members. Mrs. Gatos, we'll start with you.
I said a lot of my stuff on Thursday, but I do want everyone to remember that school is starting again. Please, please, please drive like it's your child out there walking. Keep your eyes open. Pay attention to the stop signs, speed limits, very, very important. And I also would like to thank our summer interns. We get a good group of kids that come in, and they do very good work for us, and they learn a lot of things that I think helps them in the future, and they help us out as a municipality. So it's good for everybody. So, and that's really all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Poach.
We mentioned the Library Fun Fest earlier. Thank you, Tim, to get that in place. That's ongoing for that as well. Joe and Joe, I think there were some things left from Citizens Night we forgot to get to from the festivals at the library. Do we still have those photos available? Yes, there they were. These were still from they forgot this last week and wanted to share with everyone how much fun they had with the moon landing party, and also from Community Day as well. They're in place. There were, I think, 2 of them as well, too. So it's a really busy place down there, and we'll see everybody on the 24th. Other than that, nothing else right now.
Thank you. Mr. Harvey.
Yes, I'll reiterate what I said on Thursday night, which is all the firemen at Number 5 Fire Department wanted to thank all the residents from the Edgemead Meadowdale plan for the fantastic gesture of delivering food the next day after the rain and flood that they had been out all night working, and they delivered food up there, and they wanted me to express their thanks to all of you for this gesture of kindness. I also, once again, wanted to thank the volunteer fire departments, the EMS service, the police department, MS4, Public Works, the dispatch center, and all the units that came from out of town to help us that night. I was not in state. I did not see it. I had just started my vacation and got phone calls in Delaware. And anyway, so from me to all those services that work so hard to do your job and keep everybody safe, I want to thank you. I had a long report here on Lower Woodhaven, Logan's Ferry, Edgemead, Old Frankstown Road, 286, and extra, and I think we came up with a better idea on that, which is I'm going to be getting a community meeting together for the Edgemead people and anybody along Logan's Ferry Road that was affected by this. We want to have a meeting here and have the engineering department here. I had a meeting last week with the mayor and Mr. Johns, and we had a very good PowerPoint presentation shown to us. I think you need to see it, and it'll be a better time for us to discuss and talk back and forth and ask questions and answer, hopefully have answers, and if not, get them. And so I have not forgot about those issues, but it'd be very difficult to do it right now. I think the community meeting is a much better idea. Mr. Hugus and Mr. Little came up with it, and we will be notifying all of you when that is. Unfortunately, I can't say if it's this date, that's not good for this person, that's not. We're going to have to pick a date and get together here and sit down and chew the fat, so you know where we're coming from, and I know where you're coming from. I've been here all my life, and I've been down there doing public service. I've seen it. I've looked at the drains you're talking about. I've looked at the puddling in the water. I've seen it happen, and I want you to hear from the professionals. So I'm just a resident like you are, and I'm not an expert at that type of stuff. I do want you to hear from the right people. I want the right people to be available to you to ask questions, and I think that would be the way to do it. We had.
How would we be
notify to let us know when this meeting would be?
We're going to send out a letter,
Okay, that's great.
and hopefully to everybody on Logan's Ferry Road and to the bordering streets. So we'll see how that goes. We got to get that set up to make sure the proper people are here to answer the questions.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm done.
Very good, Mr. Harvey. Thank you so much. Mr. Johns.
Yes, sir. I'll be brief. Just want to let all the folks from the Fourth Ward know that due to my grandkids insisting that Pappy come to Disney World the first week of September, I'm going to miss the Citizens Night meeting.
Have fun.
But I will be here for the regular meeting, but as always, you can always track me down on my cell.
Can we
That's all I
request a
have to say.
picture of you with a Mickey Mouse hat on, please?
You certainly
Bring
can.
your
Thank you,
ear,
sir.
bring your ear to the meeting.
That's all I ask.
I love those glasses.
You like them?
I have got to see
What's your
that.
wife wearing tonight?
Mr. Arasinko.
Couple of things real quick. It's similar what Mr. Harvey was saying, but tomorrow evening I'm meeting with several communities to see if we can get some help from the governor's office as well as the DEP so we can dredge Abers Creek as well as Plum Creek. Because if you all know, not only did we have our Abers Creek issue, Plum Creek was dumping on us as well, so.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll have a good report for you in September, October. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get to that. The thing I would like to ask Mr. Hugus, and this is maybe I'm going to ask for if we can do it for a vote tonight. Paul, you know they're on the corner of Elmwood and Britton. We have a parking issue there. We have that stop sign right there. They're always parking there, right across from it, but our fire truck's having a hard time getting down that way. They have a hard time getting around from Elmwood onto Britton. Can we paint a yellow line so they don't park in that, you know where I'm talking about?
I'm not sure what a yellow line's gonna do. You could post it as a no parking, but you have to do it by ordinance.
Okay, then I can do that for September?
Yeah, you just have to give Tim direction to advertise for an ordinance, and you could post it as no parking.
Would that be for the whole street or just that particular area?
We'd have to look to see what the parameters should be.
Can you have some staff to do that?
Sure.
Because again, because again, when the trucks have to come down, now, they always use Cherry Lane, but if they have to come down that way, they have a hard time getting around. And I
Yeah,
don't want to see
if
anybody
if
get.
somebody has a house party there, sometimes they park their vehicles and you can't get through.
Yeah,
If you ever experienced that.
yes. Yes. So Tim, if you would,
Yeah, Mr. Arasinko, so you're making a motion to authorize
Yes.
advertising to draft this ordinance?
yes,
Is there-
please.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. The ayes have it, so Mr.
So Tim, you'll work with Bob and
Hugus.
our staff? Sir?
He's writing it down.
Okay. And that's it for this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, just real quick, the Sixth Ward, we were fortunate we didn't experience a lot of the flooding because we're a little higher ground. But I'm sure
Right.
that this council, and I feel for all you people,
take one,
will work
please.
together and try and rectify the
Excuse
issues.
me.
I mean, we're all on board with this. And that's basically all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. While we're passing this information down to you, I'm going to ask Mr. Little to explain how the Silver Sneakers payments fit into our, I guess it's our annual revenue for the overall budget, and what is the, what is
Well, as council knows, and as most residents know,
Thank you.
that when you become a senior citizen, through your healthcare insurance, if you go to a participating health club, spa, whatever the case might be, that club can get a certain amount of money for you participating. It's a wellness program. It's just not exercising, it's an overall comprehensive wellness, and the participant gets money for that, which we do in our program at a senior citizen facility, obviously, does very well there, and it keeps increasing and increasing. And the amount of money we have budgeted for that this year, I believe, is about $30,000, but we will exceed that probably this month. And
We've already exceeded it.
we've already exceeded it, okay. And Mr. Wilson, I believe, has a proposal for council to make some plans with the additional money that we will take in between now and December the 31st, and I'll leave it up to you.
Now, how are those funds designated as far as the general budget goes?
They go into a line item in the general fund.
Okay, and I understand they're supposed to come back to the Senior Citizen Council?
Well, it goes into the general fund,
Is it under the senior center?
but I'm not sure if it goes back to the senior citizens.
Is it a revenue line in the
It's a revenue line in
senior
the
center?
general fund.
Ms. Rock, so it's.
Yes, it's a revenue
Yeah,
line.
in the senior.
Yeah, in other words, that's just.
It's a revenue to the municipality.
Right, it comes to the
Senior center.
municipality, right.
No,
Right.
it comes to the municipality, senior.
Is it
Silver
7,100 for
Sneakers
the
does.
senior center?
Yes.
Right. Well, here's the whole deal. I'm going to read this to you, and as the council representative for the Senior Citizens Council, I'm looking forward to 2020 in order to begin a project to secure the main entrance to the senior center. As of the end of June 2019, the senior center has received from Silver Sneakers participation a payment of $5,034. The payment represents the usage for all senior Silver Sneaker members during the month of May. I'm sorry, that should be changed to June now. These numbers have been updated. Okay, the total payment for the first 6 months of 2019 is $31,550. The total for received budget for 2019 was projected to be $30,000. I am requesting that council will release funds of $20,000 in order that the senior center may work on getting plans together to complete a new and more secure entrance to the center. Based on the tragedies of this last couple of weeks, I'm recommending that the center start planning this very important project. The funding will be for the architects to make plans and to begin the new construction early in the senior center in 2020. We will also be planning for the municipal building as well as Public Works building. The safety of all staff employees of the municipality and members and staff of the senior facility. Council should look forward to making our municipal buildings safe, secure for all whom are doing business with the municipality on a daily basis. Thank you for your thoughts on this report. Sincerely, Tom Wilson. So I'm requesting $20,000 so we can get started with the architect in order to move forward in 2020.
And that's to come out of the 7,100 line item, which is the senior center revenue.
No, it won't come out of revenue. It'll come out of expenditures in the 7,100.
But the Silver Sneakers funding that Mr. Wilson
Correct.
described does go into the revenue
Right.
portion of that
It'll
same line
offset
item.
those expenditures.
Okay, so, okay.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, we're averaging, as you can see, about $5,000 a month. And originally it was budgeted for $30,000 and for the annual budget. However, we've exceeded that already with the first 6 months. So if we can continue to receive approximately between $4,000 and $5,000, we're going to look at another $24,000 to $25,000, maybe even $30,000 by the end of the year. But if we get started with the architects, in order to present the architect's design to a builder, This way, we'll be able to start working on the senior center's entrance, secure entrance, because I don't know if you know it, but we, as seniors, and I as a senior, we don't move as fast as we used to. So there's
Yeah, I agree. Speak for yourself, Tom.
and it's completely open. I mean, it's so unsecure, it's terrible. We have 2 employees that are right there in the front of the building that we need to move those offices to the back of the building or away from the main entrance, because usually when the shooter comes in, they're the first 2 to go.
Well, that's me and you, Sharon.
Tom, I have a question. If this is just for the architect, what if for some reason the actual money needed for the structure didn't make it into next year's budget?
That'd be a capital improvement.
It'll go into the
That'd be a capital
improvement
improvement expense, not a general fund, not a budget expense.
Okay, do you have any idea, do we have any idea what that's going to?
I think that's what Mr. Wilson's proposing.
My question
Get
would
the
be, who
idea.
found the architect for $25,000? Is that put out for bid, or is that just?
Well,
It was
no,
the
I
firm
guess-
that did the-
No, we're gonna have to put out for bid. I mean, the center will have to put it out for bid, yes.
The construction will have to be put out,
Right.
the architect is a professional service. It does
Correct.
not
Oh,
need-
okay.
It does not need put out the bid.
And I believe they were the ones that did the last edition there.
Yeah, I was just curious.
It's a group proposal.
Well, another quick question that I've had along, because we had a discussion also improve, up, 2 things. First of all, Tim, didn't we not have, we had a state police and their folks did a security assessment on our municipal buildings. Did it, and it included the senior center.
I can't, I don't know,
Okay.
I was with them here in the Public Works, and I left after that because I had another appointment. I don't know if they went down to the Senior Citizen Center.
They did not.
They
They did not.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So we need to square all the way. But our point was, I think the outcome of that assessment was, we looked at a total, approach to all of our municipal facilities. And I think that's some of the outcome of that?
Well, we haven't received the report yet
Okay.
on that.
All right, so I think, to Tom's point, improving our security for the facilities, terrific idea. It's not a problem. I think we need to coordinate them all together as we move towards, it's budget season
Well,
again, as we move forward
I
with.
understand what you're saying, but if we have an opportunity to move forward now with the planning of the secure entrance to the senior center by going to the architect and having the architect.
I have a couple of concerns on that, when we talked about the other systems that we talked about for improving for here, and not to be,
What, I don't understand.
Is that Tom Shannon?
What was that?
Touching a microphone
Craig,
somewhere.
you have to quit whistling.
Nobody moved.
sorry, I
don't
turned
know- I don't know
sideways.
what the
Laura,
big
did
deal
you do that with your phone?
Not a big deal, Tom. I think what he's trying to say is let's take
The
a
PA
look at
system
this.
went out.
Well,
All the
wait a minute,
buildings.
Wait a minute. We're proposing this to go forward to work on a plan to make this happen in 2020. Now, I don't know if anybody else is working on a plan for the secure of the municipal building or the public
Well,
works.
I believe we did. We had that conversation based upon the results of the security assessment. My
Well, we don't
biggest-
have that.
I understand.
It's not in
new
yet.
for us, but my
Right.
point is, Tom,
Right,
is
and
that
they haven't gone to the senior center to.
we'll look through that
Security.
piece. That we need to ensure that that's included. My concern would be is that a system would be in place that's not consistent with the rest of the.
What do you mean
the
not
rest-
consistent? It
So,
doesn't
for
have to be
example,
consistent.
not to be too specific with it, in
It
public-
doesn't have to be consistent.
No, I'm afraid
Why
it does.
No, it doesn't. Why does it have to be
No,
consistent?
it has to be consistent with it in two areas. One, we spoke about the discussions on video surveillance across
Why
the
does it have to be
municipality.
consistent? I
It
don't
has to be able to
understand
be
that.
the same, it's like putting 2 different keys in the lock.
It's what?
For it. It's, this is an oversimplification, but it'd be like having 2 different keys for the same lock. Okay, that's not the case. We discussed in
Hey,
executive
what does that
session,
mean? I
we
don't
discussed in
understand what that
executive
means.
session, the idea of a number of different ways
So
to
you're
do things.
turning it down for the senior center.
I'm not turning anything down. I said, let me back up again, okay? It's one, first of all, it's terrific. The first point that you brought here is great, that there's increased revenue. That is terrific, okay, to do that. So it's not an issue to put that together. My point is coordinating with the other plans that we have for the rest of the buildings in the municipality. That's all.
Each one is completely different.
No, they won't be. That's the
This building is
discussion.
completely
No,
different
sir.
from the senior.
No, sir. The
And
control.
these two buildings are completely different
No,
from
sir.
Public Works.
No, sir. We
do
talked,
we-
No, sir.
we specifically discussed improving, we teased Steve about how there's VHS tapes, from the program that's over at the Public Works. We can't see the rest of that information. Upgrading our surveillance in and around this facility, which includes access, digital access, key card access, as well as video surveillance, so that we can
The senior center
effectively.
is already put in, and they pay for it. The senior council
Understood.
has paid for everything that they put into that building.
Sure. Terrific.
And this will be paid for by the Silver Snake.
No question about it. It's fantastic that that happens. It's no burden on the municipality. However, they need to be coordinated so that we, meaning Monroeville, whether it's on the security side, law enforcement, EMS, or whatever, can act with the rest of those systems. So your concern here in this document was, you brought up the tragedies in Dayton and in Texas. Okay?
what?
The tragedies that happened in Dayton, Texas, the idea of active shooter. The coordinated response to that, okay, is even faster because we have our own dispatch center to do that and communications for that. Those
you know what
programs,
happens
all
in
of the
5 minutes?
panic, everything from panic alarms, which we discussed here earlier for our staff
30
upstairs.
seconds, they killed 20 people.
I understand, Tom.
Gentlemen,
doesn't
if I
matter, that
could, real
part of
quick,
it.
if I could
But our-
interject real quick here.
But,
Mr. if I could
I'll finish that 1 second, Mayor, and that is my last point is this, okay? It is a terrific idea to increase that. So please don't say or even imply that it's not a great idea or that I'm not supporting it. Increase the security, it's fantastic. Let's coordinate the activities with the rest of the activities we talked about for the rest of the municipality in all of our facilities.
So we should wait. I mean, we have an opportunity to act now.
Well, if I could make a suggestion, Mr. Little, so the assessment that was made, that was mentioned earlier, they did not cover the senior center building?
Apparently not. I mean, Paul.
No,
Did they cover the library?
No, they covered the municipal building and the public works
Works.
facility.
Just the municipal
They were
building?
supposed to come back to do the library and the senior center, but they have not yet.
Right.
Do we have a date on that?
No, we do not.
Well,
Can
they
you
haven't
try to
even
find out, Tim?
Well, I have asked
Reported
Chief
back.
Cole. He said he was, last I talked to Chief Cole about it, about a week, 10 days ago, he said he was going to contact the consultant that came in and did the assessment. I haven't heard anything yet.
Can you follow up?
Sure.
Make it-
Yeah, Doug's on
Please.
vacation, though.
Please, make sure that we follow up on it.
Yeah, and I believe-
Sounds
and it's-
like you're making it tougher than it should be. That's what it sounds like to me.
I've been
I
to
would
these.
disagree.
And I've been to
Okay.
these, the senior council meetings as well, where this has been brought up. And this is not only just for security, there's also other reasons why they're changing the entrance. It's more about membership scanning, so then that way they can actually generate more revenue with the Silver Sneakers program, because people aren't, a fair amount of people are scanning their cards, and it shows with the revenue that they're making, but there are a lot of people that don't scan their cards.
there's like
So this would
90%,
also
yeah.
generate more revenue as far as that goes. And that money is generated by the seniors that are supporting the center, and to Tom's point, I think.
All I'm
it should
asking
stay
is give
in
them
their
their money
park.
back so they can do this. That's all I'm asking.
And I'm agreeing with Eric. I think we should do it
Right.
consistently. May I speak?
No, because you're way out of line.
Well, that's
Mr.
your
Wil- give him a-
opinion.
give him a
Tom.
minute, Mr.
I don't
Wilson.
agree with you. I
No,
agree
you're out
with
of
Eric.
line.
Well, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
I have
who
every
do you-
right to talk.
Who do you think you are?
I'm a councilman like you.
Yeah, but you're going down the wrong road.
In your opinion, I agree.
Yeah.
Mr.
In your
Wilson,
opinion.
Mr. Wilson, you've made your point very firmly, and I think everybody
clearly.
understands it, which is great. Mr. Osingo, do you have anything else you wanted to comment on?
Just wanted to say, I agree with Eric. We should be consistent for all the reasons he just stated. I don't want to go over it all. He is one of the experts in security. He does it on a national and international level.
You're full of shit.
No, I'm not, Tom.
Counsel, is it fair enough to say that some of
You're
the...
full of shit.
Gentlemen, please, gentlemen.
Sorry, folks, I apologize.
I'd like to do all the buildings at once.
Why don't, could we, there's not some, if we could maybe bring this up at next month's meeting. Let's
Could we- could
fur-
we-
Further discussion.
we
Yeah,
find- wait,
And get an update on
We-
where.
we
Can we
need
get an
also to
update
follow-
on the
get an
other
update on the
consultants
testing.
We need
going
to
to
know
those
the
buildings
testing.
before we
That's
can
your responsibility.
do anything?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you and good night.